Hey everybody. So we are at the suite tonight and we have Nolin Christensen with us. He is a financial advisor and I have listened to him talk twice now about taxes for direct sales. And so I'm going to try to set this up. You guys can watch it now. You can watch it later. Give me just a second as I kind of like move it around and we'll see if I can get him in the picture. So give us just, he says he has to stay in the picture. So let's see if we can figure this out without it.
You can't find my camera. I have it. I mean, because look, my photo booth works.
So I'm going to have to be all the way back here.
Camera?
That's my photo booth, though. It's not my live camera.
It does not do me justice.
Yes, I did.
All right, that's a little better.
Yes, I got one.
Yeah. Okay, I need two of these if you'd like one
Need-
back.
Oh, okay. Had one too many?
Yes, I know wish I kept it. Just stop doing that. And I grabbed them. Pull off all the nuts, put them on. Oh, yeah, I gotta go get this.
You normally go there, don't you?
Oh, no, it's all right. It's on these.
Actually, you know what? My stuff works out.
Oh, your Posh one in here. No, it's, wow.
There you go.
I want to, it's a breather. I can't get my messages.
To stop doing that.
I know.
Courtney Hester, hello. I'm not going to be seeing it, but I'll try to watch for comments. And you guys, if you have questions, I'll watch it from my phone.
Yeah, if they need comments or something, whatever, they can holler. We need to record it.
I'm like,
That going to work?
I-
You need to bring it a little closer. I was trying not to show the belly.
oh, well, if you don't want to show the belly, then, I'm good at cropping. I know how to do that.
I need a Mary Whittle.
So maybe, well, no, I was going to say, could I put like,
No.
No.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. They'll just have to deal with the old man belly, so.
It's all right. And Terry's trying to reboot her computer too. So that we can.
Oh, now the camera's
Page.
on. And it's on.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
I'm hurrying.
No, you're
She
fine.
says, I'm hurrying.
Oh, this is great. I blocked off the whole rest of the night.
Woohoo!
So,
Well, that's good, because I'm sure I have
I
like
was
5
already a little
days.
late
Why is
trying
this
to
so
transmit
slow?
everything. Get everything sent to the IRS for a lap, so I didn't have to go back to the office.
Sent to the IRS. You mean people like actually have things done already?
Yes.
My coworkers told me that, and he's like, oh, when
We've
I
done
get my
about
tax
200
return
returns in the
back.
office so
Girlfriend
far.
got a
I'm like,
refund.
did you?
Woo, woo, woo. I
Yeah.
will too after.
Yeah, she's one that I've got a question for you about.
Put my stuff out there.
I'll ask it afterwards. They're all. So it's.
100% self-employed.
Oh.
So are we ready, or we're going
I'm working on it.
It's hold her camera. Say something. Oh, there you go.
Okay.
Are you good?
I'm working on it. Let's see.
She says I'm working on it.
I'm almost.
It's tough right now.
Okay.
You can sit over there on the table and catches my.
Hi, team.
Okay, that'll work.
Where's the go live button? Oh, here we go.
I was like, I saw it.
All right. I think, yeah, 2, 1, boom!
Bingo.
We're ready to go here. Okay. All right. Met Tanya through one of the other groups that I do for the same type of a thing. I've been doing taxes for 33 years, and I specialize in small businesses and especially with multi-level marketing companies. Because I've been in one, I understand how it works, all that fun stuff. So we're going to go over about, for you guys for Posh, that is specific to you. We're going to just talk about various different things. Hopefully those of you online have a copy.
I will get them a copy.
Okay.
I will get that for
I
you.
have plenty of physical copies. I brought lots because I thought we were going to have lots. So for those that, if you have questions online, just holler. We'll get somebody to look, make sure they're watching for you. All right, first thing that you need to come up with is you need to come up with your total sales. I'm not going to talk about the sales tax right now. I'll talk about that a little later, so hold on to your sales tax questions, because I know it's a big issue. But total sales, and this is sales that you do personally, not your online sales, okay? That, where somebody just goes and orders directly type thing. These are the ones where you're buying the products and you're turning around and you're selling it to somebody. So you're doing it at one of your parties or something and you're selling. Those are the sales I'm talking about. You need to have a total. And I need the grand total bottom line, what you collected. So after your discounts, after your taxes, after your shipping, after everything, that bottom line answer, that's what I want. That's your total sales. Okay? The other thing you're going to get is for those that have over $600 in either perks or sales or commissions or anything like that, or prizes, you're going to get a 1099 from Posh, and I've got that down here. You write down how much you got on your 1099, okay? And then, because that is basically your income that you made from Posh. Cost of goods are going to be the things that you are buying from Posh to resale. Okay? Not what you're buying to use, not what you're, if you buy for your personal self, it needs to come out of there, because you'll notice I've got less personal items on there. So these are things that you're buying to resell. So at the beginning of January 1, you need to have what your inventory is on hand at your cost, what it costs you from Posh, and then all your purchases through the year, and then any of your products that you have to buy from Posh, like paper products or whatever, I don't know, other things you have to buy, your shipping and sales tax that Posh will charge you, and we'll talk more about that when we get to the sales tax part. And then your ending inventory on December 31st. What did you have on hand that you haven't sold yet? Bottom line answer. Give those to your accountant, bring them to me, whoever's doing your tax return, because they'll come up with your cost of goods. That cost of goods figure is your beginning inventory plus all your purchases minus your ending inventory gives you your total cost of goods, and that is then subtracted from your total sales. Okay? Is what happens on the return. So any questions?
Say that again.
It's basically your inventory, your beginning inventory plus all your purchases through the year, less your ending inventory. That amount is then subtracted from that income at the very top to get your net income of what you made off from your personal sales. Now, I understand that Posh is you don't have markup.
Right, we pay full
What you
price
pay
for it.
and you sell for that price you buy.
Right.
So basically, that should be wiping out that, so that you're down to only your commissions on your 1099. Does that make sense? Because some companies have markups with their products, others don't. Avon does, Amway does, or can. So, the various different ones. So, in this case, it should, so if your sales and your purchases, once you get that cost of goods, something's off, something's wrong. Okay? So you need to kind of figure that out. You want to put that on there, even though it's an in and out situation. You do want to put it on there because you want to be showing your total sales, because that looks to the IRS that you're trying to make a business, you're trying to make profit, trying to make a go of the company. So that's why we want our total sales there, even though it's basically a wash with your cost of goods. Okay. So that explain your income and cost of goods. Everybody good with that? Anybody online got a question?
No questions on my side.
Okay.
No questions on my side.
We got two of you two watching for you guys, okay? All right. Then we're going to go talk about all the different expenses you're going to have with the business. So your advertising, anything you do, advertising. If you buy a sign for the side of your vehicle, no, you cannot write off the entire vehicle. You can only write off the sign. Get that question all the time. So that's your advertising. We can shove it in advertising because you're advertising your business, so it goes in advertising. So that's any type of advertising where you're putting your name out there. Okay?
So if you have something on your car and you're driving your vehicle, do those miles count?
We're going to talk about mileage in a minute.
Okay.
That's coming.
I'm just,
Nope. This is what I like. I don't mind. Not a
Our
problem.
heads go like this.
Yeah, that's fine. So.
Did you say like this?
Yeah, that's true. Squirrel.
Yeah, squirrel. Okay, tax preparation, okay. This is only the cost of what it does to prepare your Schedule C, your business. Your regular, whatever cost to do your regular part of the return cannot be deducted. There, it's deducted in another area, which goes away next year.
wait a minute.
So that's what is related to actual business.
Yeah, this is actually, so I've got an only portion pertaining to the Schedule C. So, Schedule C is your business. Okay, that's the IRS form, Schedule C.
And
So
so
the
your
cost-
bill would be itemized most likely?
Yeah, and if they don't, hopefully they'll know what that figure is, so when you go to them next year, they'll know to deduct that, so you want to look to make sure that they deducted that, okay? So, because my bill is just a grand total, but I know how much it costs to do your various different business forms, so.
And I was told I couldn't write that off.
That's why we have these classes.
I know.
Yeah, no, portion that pertains to the business, you can write that off on the business. Contract labor or office assistants, these are people that are helping you if you get really large in your business and you need help and you need to hire somebody to come help you input or do things with your business. That's what these are here. If you pay anybody over $600 in a calendar year, you must issue them a 1099 miscellaneous form.
Or W-2 if you're.
Or a W-2 if you're doing them as employees. I have in here, and I've handed out to you guys, there is employee versus 1099, all the rules. If you hire family members for W-2, there's special perks, and it's all in that. Okay? So like hiring your kids and paying them $5,000 a year to do work, and they got to do work. You can't just pay them.
Dang it.
All right? They have to work in the business.
They clean the kitchen
All right?
for me.
And it has to be ordinary type wages, not extraordinary wages before them dumping the trash, okay? So,
Take this
Can't pay them
Posh trash
$5,000
out.
to dump the trash?
no, IRS does not like that. But you can do them as a W-2 employee, okay? And you don't end up paying some of these taxes. There's certain taxes if they're under a certain age you don't withhold. It's all in that document. And then you turn around and on their personal return, you put that into an IRA. It's deducted out. They have zero income.
Yeah.
You're putting into an IRA all these years, building up that IRA, and you've got a nice little deduction on your tax return that you're able to deduct because you paid an employee.
Well, employee taxes really help too,
Yes.
paying those.
Yes, paying employee taxes, but there's not as much employee taxes when it's family. If it's a spouse or parent or kids, the taxes are different.
Really?
Yes. It's in,
So,
it's in this, the document that I've got, family employees, one.
so do you have to put that amount into the IRA before December 31st or just
No,
before?
you have until April 15th of the following year to put in for the prior year. Okay?
That's a good question.
Good question. But yeah, I want to let you know that by hiring family members, I've got that document that you can read about the rules on W-2s, and you can make it benefit you and the spouse and the kid or whoever. Okay?
So does that child actually even end up with any cash then?
No.
Because you paid them.
You paid them, but it went into an
You
IRA.
turned around and you put it into an IRA, so they actually didn't get anything.
Right,
So who's the IRA's name in?
theirs.
There, okay. That's what I'm like, that's
Has
what
to
I'm
be in the
thinking.
kid's name.
Right,
Has to be in the kid's name. Yes.
And then what, they can turn around and can't touch it until what age?
If they pull it out before they're 59 and a half, there's a 10% penalty plus federal taxes on that. If they will leave it in there and you do that for a number of years, by the time they retire, they're going to have a nice little nest egg. So you need to teach them, savings and what's going to.
No, that makes total sense.
Yeah, there's a good reason why we tell people to do this is because it really helps. The kid can have $1 million saving retirement when they retire at 60 some odd years old.
Right, and then they started at 12.
Exactly, because they've been putting in this IRA all those years. Okay.
But
What's the
if you
youngest age you
actually-
can do that for?
Really? So Janie has
I'm
twins.
thinking grandbabies.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Why not?
So you can do it for grandkids as well?
Yes, but they don't. I don't know if they're going to follow under that family rule stuff. I'll have to check. Where the kids do and your parents
Gotcha.
do and your spouse does.
So, like,
So they should. Would be my inclination, but I'd have to double check on that. So you've got twins.
yeah.
How old?
3.
So yeah, I would. You're not going to pay them $5,000 because they're not going to do $5,000 worth of work. You're going to pay them a couple, $200, $300, $400 or whatever. Okay. So yeah, you can do and put into an IRA starting now.
Now, if they empty the trash that's in her Posh office,
Mhm.
that counts. If
Mhm.
they put a sticker on
Yeah,
all
if they're
their
helping you
products.
do putting your stickers on all your labels on all your stuff. If they're helping to do that, they're helping do mailings, or they're helping to dump the trash out of the office, your
Yep.
Posh office, okay? Yeah, so they've got to be doing work for the business,
Crazy.
okay?
Never would have thought of that.
It's a nice little deduction, okay?
Yeah,
So-
well, and they come around and
They're
they've
earning
got the
this.
retirement,
Is all of their income taxable if
You
you
help them make
don't
a
put it in the
retirement.
IRA, or do they have an exemption to a certain
Up to a
amount?
certain amount. There's $4,150 up to that point. Well, actually, that's not true, but there's things. 6,000 they'll put in right now, and it'll go to 12,000 where they won't have any taxable income.
Okay.
But meanwhile, you can be using this as a way to put into the
Fund an
savings. You've got
IRA.
deductions. They've got money in a savings account, IRA. Okay.
So those paychecks, though, that you said that there's different family rules,
Mm-hmm.
is that for those that are coming from S corp too?
No. Oh, yes, it could be. Yes. Yes.
Because I'm an S corp, so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and look into that. If you've got a family member working for your company, there are certain, so it's in that document.
Sorry, Steve, you don't get a paycheck this week. We're dropping it in your IRA. but don't worry, because I
Yeah.
gave myself a bonus.
Yes.
So we're good.
Yeah, we're good. Yeah.
We're good.
All right. Next thing is credit card interest. So this is a credit card that is used only for Perfectly Posh, not your personal credit card that you're not, that you use personally otherwise. This is the stuff that you're buying. So you should have a credit card that you use strictly for Posh. Okay? And then that way you can take that interest because it's a business expense. Try to get your name Perfectly Posh or your name or whatever you call your business on that card. I know one of my other clients the other day came in and said her card, Chase, would not do that. Okay, as long as you specify that that's the business card only, you don't use it for personal, and you use your personal for personal, and you keep the two separate, we're fine. Okay?
Well,
I see it.
Okay, yeah, I know, because I'm like, when I first started out, I didn't use a separate card,
Mm-hmm.
but I do now.
Right.
And everything, but.
I
so
try
I've
to
got
tell
some
people.
purchases on there.
I try to
that
tell
are-
people right up front, you need to do it right off from the bat. You need to have, so you get a business account, and you have your personal account. You have a business account, you get a debit card for the business account, you buy everything on that debit card that's under the business account. You're good to go. Because IRS does not like commingling of funds. So they don't
Didn't
like you.
anything.
Wow.
They like their money.
But, yeah. So yeah, no, don't commingle your funds. So don't be paying Posh stuff out of your personal and paying personal out of Posh. They do not like that.
I'm guilty of that.
I was gonna say,
What if-
I
yeah, what
already have done that because my
Yeah.
card information for my business only account got stolen, and so they shut it off.
Right. You need to
So
get
then I
another
didn't
account
have a way
open.
to get
Yeah.
my money, so I just
Yeah,
used
I know.
the other one.
There's some times, but try to keep it as much as possible separated. Because if you get, I do these classes from a point of view is if you get audited,
It sucks.
okay?
What-
That's-
la, 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 la. Just went through that. La, 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 la.
That's what I'm coming from, and I come from that point of view, okay?
It's
So-
not a fun process.
No,
We just
I've
pay it
heard,
off. It's
yeah,
fine.
no, I will file. And I have one, I have,
Well, I will tell you,
so,
my CPA is in, where is he? He's in Utah.
It's Brad.
And he told us, we have a spreadsheet, so if
Mhm.
by chance something happens and I forget my business card or whatever, I have it right on my Google spreadsheet, and if I have to run my personal account, I'll put it right on my Google spreadsheet for him to see, okay, I spent this much money, here's my receipt, whatever,
Right.
and he can pull it right down,
right. So,
but at least it's all,
yeah, try to keep it as clean as possible.
well, yeah.
Because if they come in and audit you and they see you're commingling funds, they could disallow a lot of things, saying, nope, that looks personal to me, nope, that looks personal to me, nope, that looks personal to me.
So I have.
So I really try to keep your stuff totally separate of each other.
So this is expenses, not necessarily, so like if you use your personal credit card to buy product, even though it's for the business,
They don't like that.
But it doesn't mean you can't deduct it.
That is true.
Okay.
That is true.
If
But
you
you,
never have interest on your credit card, do we need to worry about this?
Nope.
oh, okay, okay.
Yeah.
That's
But I
What
can't
if you
get
don't-
a credit card in my
Yeah,
company.
I mean,
Sorry.
I never
Sometimes you
run
can,
a balance on
sometimes
my
you
card
can't.
ever,
Wells
so
Fargo
I'm
will not
not
let me
worried
because
about
they
this.
said the company.
get an American Express card, you have no
I was
problem.
gonna say.
And my company name?
Mhm.
Yeah, Amex is easy.
I
easy.
I got American Express for both my businesses, and it says my company name right on it.
Yeah,
So,
Amex is
I had
easy.
one, but they would only give me like a secured card.
Oh,
I'm like, is
Well,
that-
now that
no.
you have,
yeah.
now
So-
that you have the S corp and FEIN, you should be better off.
Nope, they said because my business does not have an established credit line.
Oh, I didn't have a problem, and I didn't even have a credit line.
No, they told us, Wells
Yeah.
Fargo said, no.
Oh, Wells Fargo.
Wells Fargo said, no, I haven't tried American Express.
American Express has a lot better luck, okay? Because they are more business oriented,
Got it.
okay? So, yeah, you didn't have a problem. All right, moving on. Office expenses. These are things that I kind of broke down some of the things. If you see something there and you think it's more of an office expense, that's fine, shove it in that area. Now on postage and shipping, notice that is different from what you paid to Perfectly Posh shipping and postage up here, okay?
Meaning like when you.
So in other
ship
words,
it,
you bought
use
something
an
and now you gotta go ship it out, so that's your postage and shipping down here.
Okay, so let me ask a question on this. There's a lot of times, like, I'll send team gifts out, and so I'll have a receipt, and it'll just have, like, their zip code and the tracking number and all that stuff.
Mhm.
Do I really need to flip it over on the back side and write who I sent it to
Yep.
and what do I really? Damn.
Well, actually, if you will go online
Mm.
to the U.S. Postal Service, you can set up an account, doesn't cost anything, and you can print labels from there, and it tracks all that for you, and you pay it through that.
Well, and that's what, I've been using stamps.com. So it tells who I've gone
Yeah.
to.
You're fine.
But do I have to include what I put in each
No,
package?
no, you do not have to include, what you put in your packet. You're shipping it to one of your people. You're shipping it to somebody that's in your downline or one of your customers, you're good.
Okay,
What's in it? Care less,
care less. Okay.
okay?
So under, like when I'm looking at my little spreadsheet here, for shipping, I just had ship to customer. If I was ever audited, that wouldn't be good enough?
Right, you need to have that shipping receipt, okay, from the post office or wherever.
Well, and I do everything on my card, so I have the credit card
Right,
Like, I just have a copy of my
Mhm.
statement so you can see.
you can see.
Okay, so I
But
don't
you-
need to have the one from the post office. I'm okay with the receipt for my credit card.
You
that
still
says-
need to have the one from the post office. On paying with a check, paying with a credit card. Yes, you have a backup there, but they still want that physical receipt.
That's where I'm in trouble, is I don't always have the receipt, but I always had the credit card.
Yeah.
See on the credit card where.
That's why I said do it through USPS site, because you can go back through and you can print up, and there's your hard copy that matches up with what's on your credit card.
Yeah, but
Okay?
those
But it's
ship
like-
on and stamps.com, they're cheaper shipping.
Yeah,
And they'll do the same
but
thing.
I have to use USPS because it is the only secure posting because of sending
financial.
stuff, because
Well,
it's
that's
financial
different,
stuff.
yeah.
So when I talk shipping, I'm talking, but you guys do whatever you want, but you can print up your receipt or list of everything, so you have your physical paper back, and you can just scan, and you don't even have to print it. Pull it up, save it as a PDF, and you're good. Okay?
So like, the same thing with like maybe, office supplies or Hobby Lobby. If I don't have the physical receipt from Hobby
They
Lobby.
can deny it.
um,
They sure can.
Look, I just
Been
got
there, done
audited by
that.
the state,
Yeah.
and the lady that was auditing me told me that if I didn't know exactly what was in every package that I shipped out, they were denying it.
Really?
They denied it all.
Really?
It was
Yeah.
monthly.
My PayPal, all my
You're
PayPal
freaking kidding
receipts,
me.
all my PayPal receipts, they denied it all. All my travel, I live in Maryland, all my travel to here, like to do meetings with her
Yeah,
and things like
yeah.
that, is denied because it wasn't a corporate sponsored travel.
They told her that she had to have
Nope.
a receipt from corporate.
I
proving that she was-
I would be down at the IRS office just throwing a fit.
This was my state, it wasn't.
Yeah, and that was the other thing. Is
States
it was
are,
state.
yeah, nasty,
Yeah.
but I won't mind going in and say, we're not
It
gonna do
was-
that.
It was bad.
not pretty. We went from a
No.
$13,000 loss to a $30,000 profit.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
They denied all my mileage, they denied all my travel, they denied.
they shouldn't be able to do that. I would, if I was your accountant, I'd be screaming.
Well, this is before I had an accountant.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, yeah. All right, any questions about office expenses anymore on that? Okay. Supplies, this is your, if you do food for a party, you do, type thing, okay? So you're buying the food to host a party, that's fully deductible. There's another food situation that isn't, so we're talking about the fully deductible ones. If you go to a perfectly posh function and you pick up the tab for everybody else that's there at that function, that is fully deductible.
So how should we classify them as a different classification?
Yes.
Okay, because I had been told when I first started direct sales to classify it as travel meals and business meals. So that travel meals went into one.
One, and business meals go into another,
Right.
yes.
Okay.
And you're gonna see on here I have the two different
Okay.
areas. So yes, but you need to, but on that food tab, okay, you need to list who all that you picked up the tab for,
Okay.
okay? You need to list everybody that was there. That
Now,
it was a business meeting, that you talked posh stuff.
so if say I paid for something for all of us, is my
Uh-huh.
portion still write-offable?
Yes,
Okay, just making sure.
Right offable.
Write-offable.
right off. Uh-huh.
Right.
It's a word in my office.
Write-offable. Is that a standard deduction?
Cost of putting on a meeting, okay? So if you had to rent a space like this, type thing, party,
No, sir, in the state of Maryland.
party supplies, you can startup kits. I don't know if you guys do a startup kit with Posh, do you?
Once, yeah.
Once.
Yeah, the first time?
Yeah.
And
Okay.
then we have transition kits, so would you put your transition kit in that
Transition
startup at the same
Yeah,
thing?
yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Team dinners, where you take your team out and you pick up the full tab. Okay? We found this out in an audit, that you get to write that whole thing off with an IRS audit.
Wow.
So this is coming actually from an actual IRS audit, that if you pay for your team or you pay for everybody's meal,
The state of Maryland knows more than the IRS, apparently.
State of Maryland.
I'm a little
sucks.
sour, I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
No, no problem.
State of Maryland sucks.
All
I
right,
can't wait.
label and packaging supplies, because I know you guys have to label your stuff,
Mhm.
you know, and things, and package stuff, so, you know, that goes down in your supplies. And then anything else that's supply related that you may, you know, type thing, okay? Good on supplies?
Yep.
I'm going to skip the sales tax paid to the state right now. We're coming back to that.
We're gonna come back to that later.
Yes, we're coming back to that. Travel, so when you travel, airfare, hotels,
Unless you.
Unless
and you
can
just
stand
you need to state what it was for,
around. Right,
you know.
but because I didn't have a corporate invoice to go to the meeting, or the corporate invoice to to come here to do a
But you
meeting.
get your invoice is the airline invoice.
Right.
No, but I didn't have anything from corporate stating that I had to come here to do this meeting,
So
according to them.
she does extremely large events, and she travels the entire United States, and she has a team of like 55,000 people, maybe slightly exaggerated by about 2,000. But point being is that she would travel to help, or she would
Yep.
travel to go do that,
Yep.
and they were telling
But the
her,
thing is, corporate is not senders. These people are bringing her
right,
in.
they're bringing her in.
So,
Exactly.
I'm sorry, it's still a write-offable expense.
We bought it and bought it and not.
Oh, man, it's a good thing I'm not in America. I'd be,
I'm moving soon.
She's moving here.
I'm moving
Oh.
here soon.
okay, awesome. Come see me. So, all right, so airfare, hotels, your rental car and the gas for the rental car. And you need to have all the receipts for all of that. Shuttle and other transportation, seminars, convention fees, all that type of stuff is travel.
Just a thing about receipts. Can we just put it in a cloud and get rid of the paper receipt?
Yes,
Okay.
IRS does allow that.
Okay, because I have this huge, like, I have FOMO of getting rid of these
Yes.
receipts.
Yes.
I did the same thing in my office with returns, okay? We just went paperless starting last year. I started getting rid of, I've been gradually phasing in. You know, I started scanning
It's
all
hard.
the stuff I had to keep, and so now we're down to a sheet of paper for each client, and that's it.
Okay.
I
Because-
still,
We
it's like I'm
scan
scanning it and then I'm-
everything,
Yeah.
we scan everything else in.
Yeah, because I scan using Neat, and
Mhm,
I love
Neat
it
receipt.
because I can use
Yep.
my camera
Yep.
now, and I can get rid of it.
Yep,
But there's just something about having all these old receipts that I'm like,
I know. Some of us still have to have our paper, I
yeah,
know.
it scares me.
I know, but here's the thing. You need to make sure that you have multiple backups of your
That's-
data.
That's the key.
That's the key.
So,
You need to have it on a flash drive. If you've got it on your hard drive, you need to have it on a backup. You need to have it in the cloud. You need to have it in multiple places. And your backup should not be at the same place where your business is. It should be
offsite.
off-site. So if something happens to the business, you have a backup off-site.
I am iClouding it, and then I'm making copies for every month of the receipt, and then I'm putting them in a file, and so I'm still keeping paper.
That-
Well, because I
Yeah,
scanned everything for the year that I got audited. I scanned everything into my computer. I'm like, look at me, I'm good.
Yeah, and then
except
he
my
didn't
computer
like
died.
No, her computer
My
died.
computer died.
Yep.
So they're like, oh, just call the companies where you went.
Nope.
What? here's my bank statements. They said, oh, that's not good enough.
Nope. Not good enough.
So,
Yeah, you need to have multiple backups. Okay?
I'm with her though. I'm freaking out. I'm like, oh no.
Yeah.
And
Well,
I
and
know.
you
I
can't
know.
copy
It,
the
it took
receipts.
it took me a number of years.
You can't keep the receipts because they're thermal, so they fade.
Exactly.
Yes.
And that's my other thing, is
Yep.
that we have a girl that she,
What I do with the paper receipts I still get, I take the thermal, put it on the printer, copier, I copy it, I paste it to the page, so I have the original thermal, and I have something that's legible.
okay,
And it's supposed to be a paperless society. You just can't do it.
And then I scan that sucker in.
And
So
then
I
still
have-
keep it. I still keep it. I put it in my file.
so
But-
like, so let's go, my receipts from 2012, because I wasn't using Neat at that point in time.
Mhm.
The majority of the thermal receipts are not legible at this point in time.
Yep.
So the fact that I at least have a piece of paper,
Nope.
no.
You gotta make a copy of those thermal receipts and attach it to that,
Or scan it right away.
or
while it's
scan
nice
it
and
right
bright.
away while it's still legible.
Well, if you make a copy of the thermal though, do you have to keep the original?
I do. I paste it right to that page. So I have the thermal. tape to it. That way, if the thermal goes away, I still have the, I have, and that shows that I put the two together,
Gotcha.
I show I had an original receipt at one time, can't help it, went blank, but at least you can read it over here.
Okay, so.
So we can just get thermal sheets and just start.
Exactly.
Just go, la, 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 la.
Top to the hand.
So, question being, we do a lot of like bulk orders.
Right.
So somebody will PayPal me. Is it best then to turn around and send a copy of the full receipt, or for the person who did it to write out each person? I mean, how do you document that so you can take that and get your portion of?
So a person is buying a bulk and then everybody else is buying from that person?
Yes. So like right now, is it in there?
No, that's just, you're,
No. So, like,
This is
example.
for for
So I'm
business
doing,
cards or flyers.
so like right now, the example at hand is, ooh, that one got ugly, is we're doing these cards.
Okay.
So we can buy them in bulk, so
Right.
that it's 3 cents, 4
It's a
cents
group
each.
buy.
It's a group
Right.
buy.
the group buy.
So I'm gonna have the receipt.
Right. Okay.
How do they
How
write
I
it off?
write it off because I paid her $25.
You need to give her a receipt that she bought it from you,
Okay.
Yep,
okay?
that's what they told me about PayPal, because I
And-
don't get any receipts from anybody for anything that I bought.
Yep.
And can I just take a copy from my receipt?
You're going to write off the whole thing, the whole blooming thing,
Really?
and then you're going to go up here under income, and you're going to include what you collected from her.
Okay, because I thought that we couldn't put it in there because they considered that was,
The best way to do it, and this is coming from an accounting point of view, not an IRS audit, not a, IRS point of view situation, coming from an accounting point of view. You're gonna write the whole thing off, whatever you collect from everybody else goes in income.
okay.
So
Now
you
my
have
tax,
to write the whole thing off because there's a tax liability for you if you don't.
Correct.
yeah, because what in the past, years past.
Because
all of
you're gonna
that-
get too much of a deduction when you shouldn't, because you got money reimbursed. They're not gonna be able to deduct, so you've gotta give them a receipt for them buying from you.
Because in years.
So basically,
past-
it's like I went and I had a bunch of stuff printed up at the printers, and now I'm selling it to my clients.
Mhm,
Same thing.
okay.
Invoice,
Invoice
write the whole thing off, include the whatever you sold to everybody else or collected
Okay.
is income.
Because in the past, what I would do is I wouldn't take, like, let's say it was $1,000 receipt.
Uh-huh.
I would take my $23, write on it that it was a group buy, and I would only take $23
Nope.
of it. Okay.
Nope.
So when I ask them for a receipt,
Yep.
because we've done a lot of these,
Yep.
I say, okay, I need you to send me a
They need,
receipt. What can
they need to do a
just
receipt.
another random person who does not a she's not a business, so what can she give me that qualifies
She needs
as a
to,
receipt?
she needs to have a receipt on her business letterhead saying that you paid her this much for this. Just like any other invoice.
Now, am I gonna get taxed on?
You're gonna include it in income, it's backing out, so when your
So
net
it's-
amount is only what
it's
your
net.
portion is.
Okay.
Okay? The caveat here is, you said $1,000. If she bought $1,000, she's gonna have to issue you a 1099, and you need to make sure that that money is included in income, because there's over $600 on a calendar year that you bought from somebody.
Whoa.
She bought $600 worth of supplies from you,
Mhm.
she has to issue you,
Because I'm gonna be
1099,
writing it all
'cause-
off.
because that's income to you, but you're writing it all off over here as an expense.
Oh my god.
Yeah, because I mean, like,
This is
we've got some girls that are really good at coordinating group buys. And,
And if in the course of the calendar year, any one of these people has paid you more than $600 or them more than $600, that 1099 comes into play.
All right, so any premier who's listening to this, we're going to start rotating group buys, okay? It's going to rotate, so nobody gets more than one amount.
Are you and Sharon Carey your team page?
I'm on my team page right now, but
Yay.
okay.
Where are you live, Terry?
She's live in her training page.
Yeah,
my team page.
she's on her team page over here. She's there and Hilda's over here.
Are you live somewhere?
No, my
So
Okay.
if somebody buys more than $600, $600 or more in supplies,
Yes,
they have to give
yes,
that individual a 1099.
yes. If they're not a corporation, they are an individual, you've got to give a 1099.
Okay, so then,
So in other words, you, at Office Max over here, Office Depot, you don't have to because that's a corporation. Okay? But if you're buying from an individual,
Like
yes,
PayPal.
you do.
Like if we're PayPal
Yes.
for money,
Yes.
okay, well, mine are $23 each, so I'm good. I'm good on this one. But you think about people that buy.
how many times we do group buys?
How many times we've done
Yeah.
group buys, and to make
And
it
somebody's
easier,
buying, yeah, and you know, so like I said, if any one person has bought more than, you sold more than $600 to the other people, you know,
Yeah.
they're gonna have to have that
because
from that one individual. Now, they may have $600 worth of sales, but it may be 50, 50, 50, 50, 50, and we're fine. Because it's not 600 for the calendar year.
yeah, because
But
I mean,
if
like,
you
there's
did
a
a
lot
buy
of times.
and you bought $600 from them,
Yeah, because there's a lot of times. I mean, like it is like when we do bag orders. I mean, it's just ungodly to try to print out or just to count out 100 individual ones and send it to 5,000 people.
right.
So you'll have a premier who does the big order.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have sub premiers
Mm-hmm.
who collect from their teams,
Mhm.
and they roll all those up,
Mhm.
and then they roll
Mhm.
those up.
Guess what happens a whole way up?
I'm not group buying from anybody.
Well,
That's
but-
because you're buying something you're writing off, and it's more than $600. You've got to issue a 1099 to that individual.
Okay, so now, since I'm an LLC, let's say she with my
Doesn't
suite-
matter.
Well, hold on.
It has to be an S corporation.
Okay.
If you're a sub S or a partnership or
Or an
an
LLC.
LLC individual, gotta have the 1099s.
So then if I did a group buy,
And you're an S corp,
She's
I'm an S corp,
okay? They don't have to issue, who you sell down to does not have to issue the 1099 to you.
because you're going to take it.
But
as
you're
a-
still gonna include it in income, what you
Uh-huh.
got, and you're gonna write it off, but they don't have to issue the 1099 because you're a corporation.
Oh, looky there! We just found who our new person.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no.
is.
She
Let me
said
get out
no,
of this-
everybody, she
Let
said
me get out of
no.
the state of Maryland first.
She
Okay,
says no.
but anyway, so no, because corporation, you don't have to, anything else you do.
Okay, so then that is it's a different question, and maybe we'll address it later. But I've had one accountant tell me to be an LLC. I've had another accountant to go.
I'll talk
S
about that,
corp.
just,
So,
let me cover that in just a
Okay.
minute, I'm gonna get this question first.
1099s. I do a lot of events. And I go specifically one group. She does them in like 4 different cities. And I do all of her events.
Mhm.
I
And she
easily.
pays you?
No, I pay her for my booth fee to be in her event. I easily pay her more than $600.
Guess what you're issuing her?
Okay.
not just her receipt from her.
Right,
Because I've paid.
because she paid one
I paid
individual more than
Kansas City
$600.
women's events.
Yeah,
Significantly more than $600 in a year.
Yep.
So it's
For my
Kansas
booth
City,
fees.
but is Kansas City Women's Event a schedule or an S
But-
corp, or
I don't know.
do you write the check to?
but
their
it's
name?
not,
I pay
now,
with my
if
Visa.
you're paying that individual, you're writing a check to that individual,
Individual.
okay? Then, and it's more than $600 in the calendar year, yes, you do. If you're paying 100 here to that individual, 100 to a different individual, 100 to a different individual, then it's not.
No, it's all one.
It's all one
One
individual.
person?
But
Yes.
we
If
didn't
it's
want
a
to know whether or not
business,
the
It's
company
what's
is
the
an
Kansas
LLC
City
or not.
Women's Events.
No.
I'm gonna ask her if she's.
Anything
No,
else
but
you
if
have
the
to.
company that I pay, because my events are very expensive, and, I mean, I'd wipe out a 1099 for them with the first half of my deposit.
Mhm.
Yeah, so,
Yeah, you should be issuing 1099s to anybody that's not an S corporation.
so I need to find out whether or not they're an S corp.
Yes. Okay? And you need to get
Wow.
from each of those individuals that you're paying, you need to have her fill out a W-9,
Yeah, that's
so
what I was
you
gonna say.
have the name, address, and social security number or EIN number.
She's an LLC, she just told me.
You're gonna have to issue a 1099 to her.
Does it
And-
also apply to, say, an organization, tax exempt organization?
Yes. Yes.
Still have to do a 1099?
Yes,
Okay.
you sure do.
And you
This is the
can-
big area that IRS is really going after, and failure to file a 1099 carries with it very steep fines. Okay? There's I think it's $100 now. Then the first 60 days, I think, is $100 per form and the transmittal form. So if you're issuing only one 1099, that's $200 or 75, whatever it is. And then it goes up, and then it goes up again if you're further later. So it can get very steep very quickly if you're not filing these. If they come in and audit you and find you not issuing 1099s, they're going to fine you big time.
So as long as they're separate and like, I might get up to $600 through the whole year, but as long as they're all to different.
As long as they're different individuals, you're fine. It's a individual gets more than $600, you got to issue that 1099.
Yeah, because I know, like, as I do business here with this suite and
Mhm.
people rent it out,
Mm-hmm.
I give them my W-9
Right. Mm-hmm.
so that they can pay me.
Yep.
It's not a big deal.
That's what should be done. That's exactly what should be doing. And that's what
Because
you guys need to be
essentially
doing.
I'm
If you're
setting them
paying
up.
these people, you need to get a W-9 from them. And W-9s can be gotten on irs.gov, no problem. Okay?
Now I gotta find out whether or not they're an S corp.
All right. So we're over to meals and entertainment. These are meals that your personal food at convention, personal food at a training, food at any business gathering where you're buying your own, not everybody else's, okay? And local or non-local, but you have to discuss business. Can't go out with your friends, not talk business, can't write it off, okay?
But if I'm talking business,
You can,
then I can.
yep,
Okay.
okay? Food while you're out of town, if it's overnight, you can take your personal food, and taking prospective clients out. Those foods are all subject, you total it up, and then we take 50% of that on your tax return.
So,
This is the one that gets limited.
like, well, you're out of town. I'm not technically out of town, I don't think, because she's 35 miles. But,
No,
so, the food that I got tonight,
you can write
I
off.
can write off because I came to a meeting,
Ding, ding,
correct?
ding,
Okay.
yes, yes you can, but it's, you total it all up. Yeah, you total it all up,
It's far enough away.
and then
Yeah.
your accountant, your tax guy is only gonna take, 50% of it.
I didn't get a receipt
Now-
from the pizza guy, so I think I'm screwed today.
I got one for the toll road, paid the
So-
toll road to get up here.
Yep,
I
we're gonna
have,
talk about travel in a moment.
so I've also been told that, I mean, like, in a normal business, like, I may take my customer to lunch today,
Mhm.
and tomorrow I take them golfing.
Mhm.
As long as it's within a 24-hour period, are you still, is it still okay?
Okay, there's no time
There's no
limit.
time limit.
No,
So I could,
that golf is 50%, that dinner is 50%,
regardless, okay.
okay?
You wanna go? The zip line?
You're screaming business anytime.
Where's the closest one?
All right. Your phone use, okay? IRS has not come out with a rule about cell phones yet. They did when there was the old landlines that came in. The first line that came in you couldn't take regardless, period, no way, shape, or form. No matter how much you used it for business, you could not take it. Second line, you can take it, okay? They have not issued anything on cell phones. So, what we've done is we're telling people, you take your cell phone bill, it really needs to be in your name as the primary person on the bill, not the spouse, not the significant other. It needs to be in your name, and then we can take your portion, and then we're going to percentage out how much time you use that phone for business versus personal?
Oh, jeez.
Well, if you ask my husband, I'm on it all the time for business.
Yeah.
Okay?
He's probably pretty right, too.
Like I said, IRS has not issued any specific rules about it, but we're going with this because that we know we can get away with.
Talking
So,
on
on
the phone,
Okay.
this
phone
one,
calls is 100% Posh for me.
if you
'Cause I don't
have,
talk to anybody on the phone.
if you have multiple lines on like a family
Yep.
plan,
That's fine.
how do I get that total?
You're going to have to
Is
go
it
in and find that
Is it
phone's
on there?
portion.
Okay,
Is
well,
on there.
tell me, but no.
But
you
because
want-
my
You need to
bill
be the
tells me
primary
total.
person on the
I
bill.
am the primary person.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Then you're fine.
And the
Just
reason
happens to be
why,
because I'm the
But then you go
responsible
down
one.
and you get that, all the phone bills, most of them will break it down. Here's this phone, here's this phone, here's this
Okay,
phone,
here.
here's this phone. And you take
Yes,
that phone,
okay, it does.
that amount.
But his is, like $10 of the whole bill then.
I
and
know.
see, and that's one of the reasons
That's the reason
he's
why we
saying
tell you to
put
be
it
the primary
primary,
person, because
you
it's a
get
bigger,
all of
it's a
it.
bigger
Okay.
one.
versus
Alright,
just that
well, then I'm
$35.
That's the reason why we're telling you to be the primary, because that's the one that gets the most expense,
Okay,
rather
Yeah,
than
I
secondary.
I'm the opposite way because my husband gets write-off because he works for the railroad and has to have a phone for being called.
Which after this is starting in 18, he will not be able to do so.
Why?
Because they took that away in December when the Republicans passed their tax bill.
So that means that you won't be able to do it for Posh either then, correct?
You can on Posh because it's personal business. It's not employee unreimbursed expenses.
Okay, so
Even though he's required to carry one
Yep,
because he's
it's gone.
on call.
It's gone starting this
So-
year.
Wow.
you
okay.
should force them to issue him a phone
Yeah.
that he carries.
Yes,
Okay.
And put the bill in your name.
yes.
Yeah, and then
Okay,
just-
so if
Phone bill
so when it
not
comes
in.
around, I can have it, swap it and put my name
Yes.
as primary.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
So my bill breaks down individual charges,
Mhm.
but the plan is a set fee for all the lines.
Right,
on the
you
phone.
need to just divide it by,
The number,
Oh, I have another one.
yes.
Now, I have my iPad also, so it's a hotspot on our bill.
Yes, and
And I use my iPad probably more than I use my phone.
Right, so again, it's the business percentage use, okay, versus personal use. Okay,
and if you have no idea what percentage of the time you're doing business.
rough guess,
Better low than high.
IRS wants, even on your computer, okay, because a lot of times you're using personal and business, they want a little thing over here that says, okay, from here to here I did business, from this time to this time I did personal, from this time to this time I did business, this time to this time I did
Yeah, that's what I
personal.
was gonna say, don't nobody got time for that.
Yeah.
If I'm not working on my computer though, business-wise, I'm
You're not on
my
it.
computer.
See,
Right.
you're fine.
And that's what I was gonna say, is that 95% of the time, even if I'm not on my
But
computer for,
IRS, I
something's
know
gonna
on the
pop up.
computers, they want a log of how much time is business versus personal.
Well, and the thing of it is, they're gonna think it's all personal because it's Facebook
Ding,
and
ding,
social
ding, ding.
media.
Right.
Ding, ding, ding.
And that's how we run our business though.
I know.
So, but
That's
if
the
I,
reason why they want that logbook.
My
if I-
secondary, I have two businesses, and my secondary business is social media management.
Yeah, now that's
So-
different, because, your business is social media, so they're going to expect it to be 100%, or
But-
whatever percentage. You can't take 100% there and take 100% over there. You
Yeah.
gotta, that's
And-
double dipping, can't do that.
yeah, and like for me, it's like I have my Mac, I have my iPad, I have my Surface, I have
Ding,
this.
ding, 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 ding.
So I could legitimately say, this one is the one that I use for personal. If they came and asked the question, that's my personal one.
You could.
Because I clear out my cookies every night and clear my history. So, and it has nothing to do with that, but it's because of
Right.
being like a business computer. So I just
Yeah.
clear them.
That's fine. Perfect.
So,
So yeah, so you want to do that in the same way with, got the internet down there, same way? Your internet use, because the other rest of the family is using the internet, so you're going to have to percentage it out, okay? Can't take it all,
3-year-olds use them.
Okay.
I mean, is 25% unreasonable?
it's whatever percentage you think
Okay.
is,
I'm just throwing something out
my
there.
husband
Whoa.
checks his ESPN scores. The kids use their cell phone hotspots. It's all me.
All right,
He's like,
gifts and prizes. This is your things that are non-perfectly posh, things that you're buying and giving out, goes here. Because your perfectly posh stuff that you're giving out is in your cost of goods.
Right. Yeah,
Okay.
we talked about that one.
Okay.
All right? So your cost of goods could end up being more than your sales because you bought things to give away,
So Posh gifts and giveaways are in your,
are already in your purchases.
in your purchases.
Okay, so we're not, because that was the problem I had with another multi-level marketing company, is they were double dipping, because they were writing it off here as purchases, and then writing it off over here and giving it away. I'm like, no, you can't do that.
So the chunks that we cut up for samples,
That's in your cost of goods
That,
sold.
that's bought in your cost of goods,
okay.
okay? So it's already there, so you don't have to put it over here. This is things you're buying that are non-posh purchases.
Because for years.
So you're getting a gift card to give to somebody. You will go over to a store and you buy things to put a basket together to give somebody. That's the gifts.
Is there still
And
a
gifts are
$25?
limited to $25 per person.
Okay, so then,
That hasn't changed in 30 years.
right, so there's been instances where it's like a team incentive and one person will win a $500 cruise, or a car payment, or a house payment. I mean,
That technically has to be included on the 1099 that they get.
so they should be submitting a 1099 to that person then, and then it would be okay. So there's a way around that, okay?
Yep.
Okay.
What was I writing down? Prizes, how much? 25?
You're limited to $25 per person.
Okay.
I mean, and I could send you $25
So you
every
like
it?
day,
No,
Oh,
every day.
I could give you 25 today, tomorrow I come back and give you, next week give you 25.
what if they get more than $600 in prizes though?
They need to be issuing you, or somebody needs to be issuing a 1099.
Man, that $600 is a killer.
I have a headache. So, oh my God.
Yeah, this is what makes my life, my industry so much fun.
So basically then, when we're doing team incentives, we should keep a spreadsheet every month of what
Yes.
we give, so we can, oh my God.
Here's the other thing.
I'm not doing incentives anymore.
Sorry, team.
Incentives, regardless of the dollar amount, they need to be included in the income on their side that they got that.
And if you think about it, Posh is charging us and putting that in.
On the 1099.
Our
Well,
1099.
I saw my breakdown of my 1099.
Right.
Yeah, okay? So, yeah. Because this year at one of the workshops I was at, that was the thing that came up, was if you're giving gifts away in the multi-level marketing, so you're going down, you total up your thing, and then you give the hostess gifts. That is income to the hostess, and they need to be claiming it as income on their tax return. Oh my God.
If it goes over $600.
Doesn't matter, the dollar amount.
But we don't
You have
have
to issue a 1099 if it's over 600. Anything under the 600, they technically need to be including as income on their side that they got
Well, and,
because it's something they received
and see,
that is of value.
And that kind of came up, not too long ago in our premiere page, because the comment was made that if a customer earns perks that would have equaled at the prorated amount, if they were over $600, that they were going to start issuing a 1099 to them.
That is
and
correct.
that just came up.
Yep.
And they
Because I can guarantee you they got nailed in that audit,
yeah.
and that's why they're now coming up with
Well,
that.
they said that they ran the numbers and that nobody would have met that threshold.
Right,
because of
but
how
they saw that
prorated.
people could possibly meet that threshold, so that's why they're coming up with that.
Right.
Yeah, but
And
any company that I have points for, because I know I earn more points for Marriott than $600 worth,
Technically, no, they're supposed to.
I
Yes,
am not
and
giving them my social security number for them to give me a 1099.
yeah, and see, and that's what we were saying at that point in time, is that Sephora doesn't make you do it, Ulta doesn't make you
I
do
know,
it,
I
Starbucks
know.
doesn't make you do it.
It's something that just came, we just had it in our, we
It
just,
just came
God
up.
help me.
well, it didn't just come out, it's been there, but the IRS is now
Or over $600.
Well-
focusing in on. And they're looking at these, because there's so much multi-level marketing anymore, and there's so much hostess, you know,
Rewards and incentives.
incentives and stuff, that they're saying, no, that's income to that hostess, and they need to be including it on their tax return.
And see, and
It's gonna shoot party plan right down the tubes.
Mhm.
if they,
I know,
Every single thing I spend.
I know,
well,
I'm
see,
just
and,
telling you what we got, you know.
see, and I thought that the reason why that got brought up
I get mine.
was because of the whole sales tax thing now. Versus, so in my opinion, that coming up was, that
No.
kept me from running my sales through the website and shipping them over to
Yeah.
Janie's mom. And Janie's mom got the perks for it. So
Yeah.
to me, that's where I thought it was coming from, but you're saying it's coming from the IRS.
Yeah,
They suck.
yeah, IRS is, yeah. And that's always been there, it's nothing new, it's always been there, but they're just looking at it more because there's more and more and more and more level, multi-level marketing, and there's hostess credits and hostess gifts and hostess, and they're not including it as income, and IRS considers it income.
Don't you
So-
smile at me like that.
So, okay,
What's the
so,
value of those
This is the
perks?
one time I might wanna shoot the messenger.
Price item.
yeah, so a half price item. We don't pay for it. That's considered their reward. So it's a $25 item or a $50 item if they buy a Defiant.
And so you didn't pay for it?
I didn't pay for it.
Okay.
They're paying the half, the 50% off of it directly to the company. Do I have to deal
Nope.
with it? Okay.
Not
So
if it's
as
going-
long as,
It's not if it's going directly through them. If it's coming through you, you need to do something with it. But
Okay.
if it's directly from them, that's
Yeah.
that's the
The-
company's
the
responsibility.
company is issuing the rewards into their redeem tab.
Correct,
So then we wouldn't have to worry about it.
correct. That is correct.
We're good.
No, because I started to think, because I have a party open every month,
Right.
and as I get orders and I get half-price items, I'm offering it to my customers. The next month, when I go, okay, anybody with a $50 order can get an item.
Yep.
So they're still placing that order directly to the company.
Yeah, but
Maybe.
I'm redeeming the half price because it came underneath my, I was the host.
You can gift it to them now. Gift it to that person.
She's not getting paid for it.
Okay.
And then it goes
But now
directly to
that's where
the
this is
Yeah.
floating around.
Yeah.
Is
Okay.
Well, I was actually gonna like pay for half of it and
All right.
then as a reward for them.
it's supposed to pay anyone.
Going on to donations.
We were throwing.
Okay, donations. If you donate product, I don't want it on here under the donations figure because it's already in your purchases figure. Another place that people were double dipping. This is things that you went out and bought, you donated, okay, type thing. If it's donated to Perfectly Posh charity events, you can write it off on your business. Anything else cannot go on your business. If you write a check from your business to Girl Scouts or to the Boy Scouts or to this charity, you cannot write it off on your business. IRS considers that a personal donation regardless,
Even though it comes out of your business account.
even if it comes out of your business account.
Well, so
That
that's
makes
like,
no
we'll
sense.
They
do
will
a
deny it.
party and we'll say, we'll do a fundraiser and I say, oh, I'll donate 100% of my commissions from this party to, you know, so-and-so's.
Cannot write it off on your business. That
But
is
you can
personal
turn around and take
donation.
it off as a purse.
Yeah,
Yeah, you
put
can turn
it on
around
a
and
It goes over on personal donations, which
Or limit.
starting this year, no, standard deductions are going to $12,000 for a single individual and $24,000 for a married individual. So most people are not going to be able to itemize. So they're not going to be able to take it.
So we should just go
If you
buy other
can't
things
take
like
it
gift
because-
cards.
It's just,
That means that you're better off.
Hold up. So if I go and buy a $500, okay, let's say my commission that I'm gonna donate is $125. I go and buy a Visa gift card for $125 and hand that over to them, I've now made an actual purchase.
yes, that's true, but you've gone over the $25 limit.
Well, what if I give them 25 today, 25 tomorrow, and 25 the
Ding,
next
ding,
day?
ding, ding.
So why,
Hey, you're
Well, I
thinking.
mean,
Ding, 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 ding.
That's so.
I mean,
Yep.
I'll find a way around it.
Yeah, you go buy a gift card, $25 gift cards, give $25, $25, $25 to make up your $150, or 75 in that case, you know. You get to write it off, you're giving it to whatever, you know.
So,
Now if you buy a Visa
But
one,
if they
you
look
can-
at it and they see it's a charity, and see that it went to a charity, they could deny it.
okay, now then, this is
Because
gonna
it
be
doesn't matter if
something-
it was a gift card, you went and bought a gift card, gave it to the charity, or you gave cash to the charity. It's still going to a charity, it's still personal.
Okay, so this is gonna be off once we turn cameras off. I have a question, so.
Okay.
You can,
Off the record.
off the record, off the camera.
All right,
So
so,
wait a minute, what's the difference though, if it's a personal donation?
because even if it's coming, because you are a sole proprietor, so it's still considered an individual. Now, on S corporation, that's wholly different.
Right, but what I'm saying though is that it's still a personal donation. I mean, I don't understand how it's,
It's still a personal donation, but if you're giving to a Posh charity at a Posh event, that is the only time that donation is going to be able to be right off on the business because it's specific to Posh.
Yeah, and we don't ever do that.
I have various different companies, multi-level marketing companies that have within their corporate headquarters has a charity.
we do
Yeah,
too.
I guess that's true, we do.
If you give to that charity, it's deductible. If you give to any other charity, it's personal, it has to go on the Schedule A.
And when you
the
say with your
donations.
personal one, there's a minimum that you have to meet to be able to itemize
Right,
your personal
Right.
taxes.
correct.
And a lot of
They
people aren't
just don't
gonna
want
meet
people
that.
having businesses, do they?
So,
Unless they're S corps.
unless they're large corporations. It's not the IRS.
Is it our-
All these rules are made by Congress.
I was gonna say, is it our politicians? Damn you.
IRS just enforces them.
They still need to go away. But anyway,
All right,
give us a flat 20% across the board.
10% across the board would be fine. All
Right.
right, booth
I
rental
agree.
fees, so if you go rent a booth somewhere, da-da-da-da, if you give, again, more than 600 to a single individual, or a single sole proprietor, or a single partnership, or a single sub-S corporation, you're gonna issue a 1099. S corporation, you don't have to worry
Yeah,
about.
and you don't have to worry about it, because you're S corp.
I am, but I'm worried about the company
But-
that I do.
But the
I think
company
that-
she's renting from has got to issue,
Should be issuing a receipt to her.
yep, giving her a
Yeah.
1099 saying, you paid me this much for rent.
Yeah, but I think they're an S corp.
Okay.
They have an ink behind their name, so.
Yes,
So we're good.
you're probably good.
Yeah.
Then I got anything else? Okay, anything else is if it was caused because of the business, is how I look at it. Okay, a lot of other tax preparers don't do that, but I do. If you wouldn't have had the expense, if you didn't have the business, if you would have had the expense and didn't have the business, we're not gonna take it. It's because the business caused the expense, we're gonna take it. Okay? All
Can you
right.
give me an example? Like something that would go under that?
I'm gonna go with my construction people, dump fees.
Okay.
So,
That works.
Like, like your
That works.
propay fee,
My what?
your
Yeah.
propay fee.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that
Okay.
works, okay,
Okay,
Yeah,
so,
when we used to have a website fee, your website fee.
Yeah, your website fees, yeah.
okay.
so when, so like when we go to leadership, there's always some themed night.
Mhm.
And I mean, and sometimes
I've been to these multi-level marketing places before for that, I understand.
So,
Oh, no,
I
you've
mean,
never been to
I
one of
am,
these.
I am never,
costume.
I'm never going to wear that costume again. It was purchased solely because of the business.
but you
Clothes,
have to
clothes,
purchase
hang
it.
on, clothes. If you can wear them in public, you cannot deduct them.
I would
I
never
am
wear
never
it.
gonna wear a tacky leadership, tacky business suit again, ever.
Yeah, and I'm
Okay.
never going to wear a
Prom dress.
prom dress, and I would never wear.
It's
a-
not
It's something you
masquerade
would wear
mask.
It is not something you would wear normally in public,
Okay.
okay?
A toga?
I can write this shirt off. Why? It has a logo on it.
Okay, and that was going to be my next question.
So if it has the logo on it, you can write it off. Your personal logo or a Posh logo or whatever, it's deductible,
Okay.
okay?
Because
But if I wore just a regular polo shirt, and I only, because I had a dentist one time, only bought polo shirts for working in the dentistry, that's all he bought them for. He never bought them for anything else. He never wore them anywhere else. I said, you can't take it. I'm going to take it because it's business, because I only use it in business. I said, okay, but I'm telling you, that was the year he got audited, and guess what the IRS said? You can't. And he goes, yep, my guy told me I couldn't do it, but I told him I wanted it anyway. He says, you should have listened to your tax preparer.
See, and there's been two, in the last couple of years, there's been two schools of thought. Half the accountants have told half of our team, it doesn't matter if you go buy a Posh logo t-shirt from the portal, you can't write it off because it's a t-shirt.
Nope, you can write it because it's got Posh on it.
And that's what we've always said, is that because it had
It's
Posh
business
on
wear.
it,
Yep,
it was
it's business
business
wear.
wear, it was
Yep.
advertising.
If I had
Yes.
one made,
And their
Yep.
comment, the other half of them have said, but you had to wear a shirt that day anyways, it doesn't matter if you put your logo on it or not. Because 99% of us, that's all we end up wearing.
Yeah.
Is Posh clothes.
See, your Posh one, you write it off.
Yeah, and then another Posh one underneath it,
So, yeah,
okay, so it is.
yeah.
So nobody let your accountant tell you you can't write your Posh stuff off.
What you cannot wear off, write off, is jeans, because you're going to wear them anywhere. Okay, I don't care how much bedazzled they are. You know,
You mean we can't put the Posh logo on them and?
yeah, that's a.
Well, I mean, I've got sweats. I've got sweats.
The
that
yoga
are-
pants?
Yeah, my yoga pants are blinged out, and they say Posh.
And they say Posh on them.
And
That's
then I've got one that's a hot pink pair, and it says a little snarky because that was a brand of one of
well, not the
ours.
snarky, but the Posh one would be, you know, could possibly because it's got the name and logo on it.
Posh yoga pants?
Yeah,
Yeah, no, I do.
So,
I have blinged out
um,
ones.
but yeah,
Ah.
suits.
Yeah.
Okay, if you went and bought a suit, no, because you can wear suits in public.
Not these tacky businesses, you can't, uh-uh.
If you went and bought, the only time it can be if it's a tux or a, like my people down at the symphony.
So we should do like.
Because they have very
Oh.
specific outfits that they have to wear, especially if they're playing a cello or something, you know. So they're very specific.
So they're-
Okay, my painters buy painter, you know, pants and shirts and stuff, you know, because it's
The uniform.
it's a uniform,
I
okay?
was gonna say, you could look through my personal purchases and see that I don't buy jack from a Goodwill until it comes to something that I need to wear to a business
So-
event thing.
But again, if you can wear it in public, you cannot deduct it, okay? Has to have your Posh logo on it if it's regular type attire.
So,
Oh,
for
okay.
my full-time jobs, I bought polos and everything for that. But because it's not
Doesn't have the company logo on it, cannot take it.
it has their company logo on it.
Yes, but then it's employee
Right.
business expenses, which goes away this year.
That's right. I was gonna say, would that count to my,
Yeah, but that's part of the itemized
And,
deductions, and that's going
that's-
up, and that employee business expenses is going bye-bye.
So then what if I go out and buy a bunch of polo shirts for my husband to do these events with me and have them embroidered with our logo?
Ding, ding, ding.
Okay. I like the ding, ding, ding part. I don't- $25 a day? Get them embroidered.
All right, are we good on that, on the clothes part? All right. Okay, mileage. We're going to talk about mileage. I have a separate worksheet, a separate letter in there about mileage. This came from an IRS audit that was, I had 2 clients in the same year that got audited on their mileage because they had a ton of mileage. Okay, one was a multi-level marketing. She drives over, 5-state area or whatever. She's kind of like
I know it
you.
was 20,000 miles.
Yeah, okay. And the other one was a traveling sales guy, and he traveled all over the 3-state region. So they had mileage out the wazoo, okay? They audited both those in the same year, okay? This came out of that audit. To take mileage, you've got to have the date, beginning odometer reading, ending odometer reading, and what it was for. That's got to match up with your appointment book. And then you need to have an outside third-party source, like when you get oil changed or tires rotated or tires or whatever, you need to have that in with it, because they're going to look at the date on that and the odometer reading and compare it to the dates and odometer reading in your logbook and see if it matches up.
Okay, hold up.
We do all of our car stuff in-house, my husband's handy.
I know, so did my other ones. You
But
gotta
if you
have
go
to
buy-
somewhere, you gotta
buy
go get
oil.
tires, go somewhere, and at least get a receipt that's got an odometer reading and a date on it.
Can you write your own odometer?
No.
Okay. So,
I use Mile IQ.
yeah.
For every
Mile
day?
IQ works, but it's still gonna have to match up with your appointment book, and you still have to have that third-party source.
I do not
I don't-
write in my date book. I use,
Yeah, I don't either. That's,
You need to have some sort of a,
so what about our
okay, you're
phones?
giving me another headache.
Okay, but what about our phones? Because I use electronically.
as long as you can print out and have a copy of your appointments to go with your logbook,
I mean, technically, I could screenshot
okay?
my calendar.
Well, yeah.
You've
that's-
got to have that
Put it on your
calendar.
phone, I went here on this day.
How many
Yeah,
times a
would
year
be
should we?
So
get rid of
save,
them?
if you can save it some way to a, to the, paperless system, save it some way, whatever,
Yeah,
you
because I
gotta,
mean,
you gotta keep that calendar. You have to, because if you don't have that calendar that's showing that what all your appointments are, they're gonna disallow your entire mileage book.
Well, that's why I did Mile IQ, because I'm terrible about writing it down.
Mile IQ is perfect for keeping the mileage, but you gotta have that back up, that other thing to back it up,
Okay.
okay?
well, but
How many-
basically, if you're just using your phone and you put it in as a calendar, you could screenshot.
Or most of those calendars, there should be a way that you can get that calendar and download it and save it, okay?
Or
As long as you've got that backup.
How many times a year do we need to have the third-party backup, the odometer reading?
However many times if you go get your oil changed,
Nope, do it all in-house.
People think that
you need something. You need an outside third-party source at some point, at least a couple.
No, 2-3 times a
I'd
year.
say 2, 3.
Okay.
Got
I
it?
live in a small town.
The reason why is they want to make sure your logbook is right and you're not fudging it. So they want that third-party source to back up what your dates
What about a
and
picture of it that's dated,
for a picture of what?
your odometer?
Uh,
I just know.
that would work.
There you go.
Again,
That's how I did mine today when I left.
get
I
mileage
just snapped a picture of my
Mileage
odometer.
IQ is probably, any of those online, mileage apps. IRS does say okay on them, but regardless if you take a picture of the odometer reading when you start and the odometer reading when you end, or you keep a logbook there right by the, in the car, or you do mileage IQ, you still have to have the appointment calendar that backs up
Oh, yeah, I've
your
got this
stuff.
on my calendar, that's not a problem, it's
Okay,
that
and
third-party
that
one
third
that
party
was throwing me off.
backing up your dates and odometer readings that it's accurate.
So,
Okay, so a third party isn't a picture of the odometer.
No,
That's
third
just
party
actually
is
the
from,
log. Okay.
third party is, you go get your oil change, you go get your tires rotated, you go something like that, they're gonna give you a receipt. On that receipt has a date and it has an odometer reading.
Yeah, just got mine done.
Okay?
So that's just to cover those types of things, like.
All it is
tire-
it's a validation that you're not
Yep.
fudging the sheet.
Yep, that's all it is.
That's all
That
it
third
is.
party is validating that you did not fudge your,
But I'm like, wait, I don't get my oil changed on the 1st of January.
no, you don't have to get it first of January, somewhere during the year. Because they want to look at your logbook, your logbook, and they want that third party source to match up date and odometer readings, they all mash together.
Because basically, in April, when you get your mileage or your oil changed, it's
Mhm.
gonna have that date. And Mile IQ, if you take and you go from the beginning odometer number, you add all those miles, you're gonna be in that same
Yeah.
range.
Yeah, it's just so that it all matches up, so they know you didn't fudge your, because what they're doing is they're looking for people that's going back and creating a logbook after the fact,
Right.
okay? Can't do that,
Mm,
okay?
No, and that's the nice thing
So-
about Mile IQ, is that anytime you get into the car,
Yeah.
it automatically starts. You don't
Yeah.
have to worry about starting or stopping it. So it is, I mean, and
You
like.
just have to specify it's personal or business.
Yeah.
Right.
And then you need to specify what on business. They want
We
a
haven't been doing that part.
detailed business, what it's for.
And you also have to be really careful because like when we went to Cincinnati and I took the Uber from the airport to the hotel, I had to make sure I deleted that because
Yeah.
it was or listed it as public transportation, so it doesn't generate any miles for me for my car.
Yep, I did that too.
Yeah.
So,
It doesn't matter what vehicle you're in, it'll take it even if you're, you know.
Yeah, when we were in Vegas, our
Okay.
limo ride kept
Oh
doing
yeah,
that.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
I was like,
So you gotta-
delete.
yeah.
I thought you had to start and stop it, and I'm like,
No,
I'd
my,
never
no,
write
no.
it down, or
no,
I'd
I'll
never.
send you a link for Mile IQ. It is amazing. I mean, like, it's like one
Yeah,
sheet.
like
a
70
lot of
bucks a
people are
year.
using
Yeah.
Mile IQ. A lot of
Okay.
people are using Mile IQ. At the end of the year, download the report and
Yep.
save it.
Yep. That I did do.
I haven't
Ding,
done-
ding, ding. I did do
I
that one.
haven't done that one yet.
Because if you don't, and you get audited 2 years later, and you don't have a logbook, guess what? They're going to delete. Nope, all gone.
Now, mine just basically say like Manhattan Wrestling Vendor Event, Charities Party, Spoil Me Silly Topeka, Travel to Dallas, Stay Away.
Yeah, you need to have it as detailed as possible, and like I said, then it needs to match up with your appointment book, so that everything goes together.
So here's,
so like if you just drive in to like go to Hobby Lobby or whatever.
And are you
Make sure you
getting?
buy
Are you
something.
getting?
Oh, I do.
Are you buying stuff for Posh, or are you buying stuff for personal?
one thing.
Possibly both,
Okay.
but most of the time I use a different card if I,
So, but then
I
you're
can, I
going
keep all my
for Posh.
receipts, yeah. So can I write off that mileage of driving in there?
Yes.
But how do I do that? I mean, I didn't like write down my
I went
odometer.
to Hobby Lobby to get this stuff. Blah 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 for Posh.
Hey, I think
Okay.
Instead of they're saying use Mile IQ, because it would.
It-
Right, but so then I can figure out what the mileage is from my place into Hobby Lobby.
Right, but
And
you're gonna need
back.
to have beginning and ending odometer readings.
I
They
might
want
buy
that.
one
I know.
49-cent
They-
stamp or one 99-cent pack of pens.
Yeah.
Because those pens always walk away with parties.
Yeah.
So,
Now, on your business here,
mhm.
you're coming into here for when you're doing this
Yeah.
business. You cannot take from your house to here,
That's what I figured you were gonna say.
but if you will have a post office box where you get your mail, and you stop at the post office, you don't get from there to the post office, but from the post office to here you get. Or if you stop and go buy something for the business, you don't get that, but you get from the business to here,
To your,
for this business. Now for you guys, you have an office in the home, it's different. I'm talking about because she has a business,
okay,
so she can't take from home to this business.
so caveat is I have, the suite has an LLC.
Mhm.
I have Posh is whatever. So when I'm doing
Right, well,
a
that's what I've been
party
doing is like
Mhm.
out of here,
Mhm.
can't I take those miles
Yes,
though?
because you're coming to, you're leaving your Posh office to
Yeah,
come to here.
come here. Okay.
For those 30
Yeah, well, and, I mean, I know that he's like really versed in the whole mileage thing, because that was where Lindsay, they were trying to disallow like $12,000 worth
So,
of
I'm gonna,
mileage.
if I just said.
And I went in and said,
Yeah,
and we got it.
but I mean, she said that all it took was that one audit, and she said she is religious that that book is in her car now, and that she marks them when she gets in, she marks when she gets out, and she puts
Yep.
exactly what it was.
Yep.
She puts the odometer on every single
Yep.
one.
All right, so when you place the car in service, your overall miles for the entire year and your business miles. You don't know how many times somebody comes in and they give me their business miles, and I don't have their overall miles. Because the little thing wants both. They want your total miles and they want your business miles, okay? So we're gonna have to fudge the business, overall miles so I can be able to take the business miles.
Yeah, I
So
was really.
please give your accountant both figures.
I was,
Mile IQ is the best thing you could ever do.
Yeah, exactly, it'll give you all
It
that,
breaks it all
okay?
down.
And then any tolls or
Swipe,
parking fees or
personal.
anything goes in, will go in there.
In the, anything else?
No, it
No.
goes in the
Oh, the mileage
Mileage.
thing, mileage, okay, all
miles. Okay.
right, got it.
All right. I need to get over to the sales tax, so we need to.
yeah,
All right, I'm gonna talk about office and home. Okay? Office and home is an area, not a room. That has changed. Used to be you had to have a room. It's now an area. that is strictly used for business and no personal. So if you have a desk over in the corner and you use it strictly for Posh and nothing else, you can take that square footage of where that desk sits.
Isn't that an IRS red flag, though?
No.
I never take a home office deduction.
Okay?
And I have an entire room that I've dedicated as my office.
You should be taking it.
I've had one
I'm
accountant tell me
scared.
to. One accountant told me to do it. The CPA that I have been using has told me not to do it because if I sell the house, any
Yes.
deduction that I've had, then you have
Yes.
to pay
we're
back.
gonna- yeah.
Right, and
The
so-
depreciation.
Yeah.
You have to
So
recapture the
right now, you're
depreciation.
good.
Yeah.
Right
So
now, you're good.
if you don't want to take office at home, that's fine. Okay? You don't have to. But there is a new thing that came out a few years ago that is $5 a square foot. You take $5 a square foot of the business and you do not have to do the recapture
You don't.
situation.
So you
That's
take
good.
and
Now, is
cut
that
off
on
the
the
square
floor
foot.
or vertical?
Floor space.
A percent. So basically, you get to count $5 per square foot.
First time I've had somebody do that one to me.
Well, I mean, it does go, a lot of us have shelves that
Yeah. Shells,
No,
yeah,
floor
because
space.
I may have 10 square feet.
So if you've got a closet that you store your stuff in, you take the square footage of the closet, you take the square footage of your desk area. If you use the entire room, you take the entire room. Then you need the total square footage of the entire house. That percentage of difference is the percentage you get to take a water, lights, gas, sewer, trash, depreciation, mortgage interest, or rent, and insurance, and taxes.
That's a little too
Now, is that,
Or if you don't want to do the actuals like that, you can do the $5, and then you don't have to worry about the depreciation and recapturing it whenever you sell the house.
$5 per year?
$5 per square foot
each year.
per year.
So you're pretty much taking a cut in the square footage to not have to keep track of all that other stuff.
Right, right.
Or have to figure out the percentages on all
Because
that.
it could be better to take the actuals,
Right.
but like she said, you're supposed to depreciate the house and
Right.
take that percentage of depreciation. Then when you sell the house, you have to recapture that depreciation, and that depreciation becomes taxable to you regardless.
Yeah, we'll be doing that.
Okay?
Especially.
But you-
But if you do the $5 a square foot, you don't have to do.
Yeah, but I'm selling my house this year, so.
Okay.
I'm not worried about it.
Okay.
But when you get here,
$5 per square
okay, do the $5 a square foot, you don't have to worry about the recapture when you sell the house, whatever down the road.
It'll change by then.
Yeah, that came out a couple, just about 3-4 years ago for the $5 a square foot. And in some cases, the $5 a square foot is actually better than the actuals,
Right.
because depending on how big the house is, you know, the percentage comes down to nothing, but $5 a square foot is more.
Right.
So, okay, but if you don't want to mess with all the actuals, take the $5 a square foot, okay? Hey, it's a deduction. I'm all about getting that tax down as low as we can, or the write-offs as much as we can, okay? All right. So anyway, it's all about the house there. I said other stuff down there, so health insurance. This is health insurance that you're paying out of pocket, not as what is being withheld at work before taxes.
Like people that have to pay COBRA and stuff like that.
Right.
Got it, okay.
Or like me, where I'm having to buy my own insurance.
Right.
Okay? Because there is a nice little deduction that if you have a gain on your business, you can deduct part of your health insurance on the front page of your tax return, so you don't pay federal taxes
Oh,
on it.
nice.
So you can lower down your federal tax. Okay?
So what
And
about,
something else that's really nice this year is your pass-through stuff. And stuff, you get 20% doesn't go to federal taxes on your income.
pass through as of what?
So you have a gain on your business,
Okay,
okay? 20% of it will not get federal taxes,
starting in 18?
starting in 18.
Haven't happened.
She's
Ding,
like,
ding, ding for me.
ding.
She's catching on really quick.
This girl got a refund this year.
All right. Don't worry about the single item over 500 must be accounted for, allowing up to 25. That has changed. As long as it's consumed within 12 months, we're fine, so don't care. Capital asset. you can scratch the computers because they no longer, they took that off this year. So capital assets are like desks, chairs, you know,
Wait, they're not doing that anymore?
not on computers. You can write the whole thing off now. You don't have to depreciate them.
Oh, you know what, no. I was thinking of the personal property tax on it.
No.
Yeah, I got nailed
So-
for that too.
Okay.
Oh, use tax?
Well, even though, because I bought it in Chicago,
Mhm. And didn't
because
pay
I
tax?
called my CPA, I'm
Yep,
like,
didn't buy tax, didn't pay tax.
do I need
You have to pay
anything this
tax in
year?
your state.
Yeah.
Every state has that. Every
It's
state
double
has that.
dipping, it's stupid.
If you pay tax somewhere else, you don't have to pay the use tax.
Oh, yes, I
If you
did.
did not pay tax, you have to pay the
Oh, I
use
paid
tax.
tax in Chicago when I bought it.
But you only paid the difference between what the tax was in Chicago and the tax in Maryland.
No,
Maryland did it wrong.
Go figure.
Are you shocked by that?
No,
Where's your surprise face?
No, I did the 6%.
no,
And I paid more tax in Chicago.
yeah.
Okay,
So-
so I also have a question too. So up until, what, October, November, we were getting Posh points,
Mhm.
which were
June.
essentially, was it
We
June?
started in June.
Okay, it stopped in June. Let's see, I couldn't remember. So you could accumulate these,
Mhm.
and it was like 200 points equaled a dollar or something like that. So a
Mhm.
lot of people ended up,
Send your stuff that you
Yeah.
sent me, how
So-
they calculate it.
so the things, because we got taxed on it, so the things that we purchased with it, anything that we purchased with it, could we consider it to be a write-off, or did it have to be something related to the business?
If it was consumed in the business, you could write it off. If you was you consumed it personally, no, you cannot.
Well, like this.
Assumed it was, yeah, watch or
I bought my
headphones.
my
or
It's
Apple
not
Watch.
used, it's not used in business.
But if
I read
use
my text messages on it.
But if I use my
Percentage
Posh
it out
points,
of business use versus personal.
Well, let's see.
Wrong answer.
Well, okay, hold on.
I didn't see any points.
but if I use the points and got like things that I used as gifts for my team.
You can write that
Yeah,
off.
and if you got
like a laptop.
a laptop or an iPad, or, I'm with you, I mean, because
Yeah.
my
If
watch
you-
either
if-
tells me
yeah.
I need to be, I'm late
Again,
for an
Uh-huh.
appointment.
If you used it for personal, you bought something and you're using it personal, you're gonna pay tax on it, on the points, okay?
I
Bottom
figured
line.
that I've got enough other
If
tax
you
expenses.
consumed it in the business, then you're gonna write off the cost or whatever it was that the points were. You can't write off the full value of the item. You can only write off what the points, dollar
Well-
amount was.
And you had to use, so let's say
So however they calculate that points to a dollar, that's what you get limited on what you can write off.
yeah, because it was
Okay.
200 points per dollar, and then you had to accumulate enough
Right,
to pay for that
right.
item.
So regardless of what the points is, what was the dollar that thing you got,
Right.
Yeah,
okay? That's what you get to write off, okay? Does that make sense, everybody?
yep.
So if I bought an iPad last year, I can use that for that computer part here,
Yes.
just making sure.
Okay. All right, we're gonna talk about the elephant in the room. No, this is sales tax, they need to hear it.
Okay.
Because it affects them all across the country that's gonna have this issue. Posh is no longer, they're the only multi-level marketing I know that is no longer paying your sales tax in for you.
He's like, hold up.
On the things that you're buying and turn around and selling. If they're buying it online, they're paying it.
It says it right here.
Okay? It is new. You are now responsible to remit to your state the sales tax that you collected on your personal sales that you sold at a party where you bought the item, you turned around and sold it. You are now responsible to taking that sales tax, collecting it, and turning it into the state.
Because you've now become the retailer.
Because you have now become the retailer.
So are they not charging, like if I bought a whole bunch of stuff for myself and didn't resell it?
Here's the caveat here. You're going to have to get a sales tax ID number with the state, You're going to have to get a tax exempt certificate from the state. You're going to have to turn into Posh the tax exempt certificate, so Posh will no longer charge you sales tax on the items that you're buying from Posh. Okay? Because you're going to turn around and sell those and collect the tax.
So you would only be paying it once versus trying to get a refund.
Right. Otherwise, if you pay sales tax at Posh for stuff that you're turning around and selling to your clients personally, okay, then you're going to collect sales tax from your client, you're going to turn that in the state, and then you need to get a refund from Posh for that sales tax. So you need to do one of the two things. You either do the refund or you get the tax exempt certificate, turn it into them so they don't charge you sales tax up front. Okay? And this is only on the sales that you got an item and you sold it to somebody. If they went online and bought it, you're fine. Posh will take care of the sales tax.
Hold up, though.
But Posh is gonna take tax, unless I tell them.
I know. You have to have that sales tax ID and that sales tax certificate, and you have to turn it into Posh, and then they will no longer charge you sales tax.
But when is that gonna come?
But if
It's
I-
already in effect.
But if I don't tell them anything, they're just gonna charge tax.
I know, and then you have to get them to refund you the sales tax.
Yeah.
But when you're the only multi-level marketer that's doing it, how is the state gonna know to come after me for sales tax?
That's what I don't know.
See, and
Basically, I think it's crap and we don't have to do it.
I know, but but the thing of it is, you don't want to get caught on this.
So for everybody who's listening, I did try to get a conversation between Nolin and Home Office so that we could have a clarification.
Right.
So
I'm going
off of what they
I'm
put out
I'm going off what was sent out from corporate
to the newsroom.
to
or
everybody.
or whatever.
I'm using that. I'm going by this document.
Yeah.
Okay.
Posh is the one that's telling me I have to pay the state. The state's not telling me that I have to
But the
pay.
thing about it is, as soon as the state knows that Posh people have to pay, they're going to start looking at
Hold
it.
up.
And they're going to start checking it. They're going to start coming after you.
But the
Okay.
sales
They're
tax is
still collecting
being
sales tax.
paid.
Hold up!
She's like, hold up.
My understanding from David is 99% of this is for events, okay? They will not give us the sales tax ID because we still order through the virtual office, so they're still collecting tax for us,
Right.
okay? When I go to an event and the event coordinator, sometimes they do, sometimes they don't, will say, I need you to pay sales tax for me. I need you to fill this out so you can pay sales tax. I did an event in Chicago and they say you need to pay sales tax. Okay.
That's on the event. That is not on your product you're selling, which is wholly different. I'm talking about product.
Right. The product that I sell at the event,
Mm-hmm.
I have to pay the state of Illinois sales tax on that.
Yes, you do.
From that,
Yes.
then I can go to Posh and get
Reimbursed.
reimbursed.
That is
But
correct.
if I'm doing a lot of times with my events, I'll do an event and they'll say, okay, we need you to fill out this form for sales tax. And I said, I'm a direct sales company. They're like, okay, that's fine. You already paid your sales tax.
Not anymore.
Hold up. What David told me is that he will not give us the Posh sales tax ID. Hold up.
Yes.
Shoot. It's my turn. He will not give us the corporate sales tax ID number anymore.
Correct.
But
Correct.
we can have the event coordinator send a form to Posh, and Posh will fill it out with their sales tax ID number on it and give it back to the coordinator. They just won't give it to us.
Correct. That
So,
is correct.
it's not and even, I do an event in the state of Maryland, I buy my product, I have it delivered to the state of Maryland, I've already paid my sales tax on it. And Posh will still remit the Maryland sales tax that
Not
I
anymore.
paid them.
Not anymore.
According to David, yes, they will.
According to this document, no, they're not.
Well,
Yeah, see, and
but
that's
David
why-
wrote that document, and I went to him, and he said, yes, if it's the state of Maryland, and yes.
But they don't know what I'm taking to an event and what
Correct.
I'm.
So what they're doing, because see, in most multi-level marketing, you buy, you pay the tax, they submit it for you, and you're done. Okay? No, no, everything's done, everything's fine, hunky-dory, and that is the best way to do it. Because Amway years ago didn't do that. They did not collect sales tax on their end. Everybody had to collect sales tax on the
purchase side of it.
you guys, what do you call the consultants, or, you know, and they had to then turn it into the state. Nobody was doing that. And people were getting in trouble, and the state was coming after them. So finally, these corporate said, okay, we'll do it. We'll collect it on our side and we'll remit it. Everybody, local, multi-level marketing, all switched to that. Posh was the first one to go the opposite direction with it.
See,
David
and
said it's not gonna change
Yeah.
anybody's business, 99% of everybody's business is gonna stay the same.
Not according to what they're stating
yeah,
here.
and
I,
that's,
that I get, but that's why I went to
And
him.
I'm going to, on
Yeah.
this, that you guys are gonna have to get a sales tax ID number, you'll have to get a certificate, turn it into Posh so they don't charge you the sales tax, you're gonna charge the sales tax, you're gonna remit it to the state of Kansas. Or to
Yeah,
whatever
because-
state.
See, like,
Okay.
even when I had a conversation, when this first, like, kind of came out, before this was even published, I had that conversation, I want to say, with David asking that exact question, but I've already paid you.
Right.
And
And
what
he
I was,
said that you
what I
gotta
was
get it.
told is that I paid tax based upon my sales tax location. If I turn around and I go and I sell it in Newton or Hudson
This is
or
the reason,
anywhere else,
this is the
that there's
reason
a
why they're,
delta.
this is the reason why they're changing it.
So that's why
Because
I wanted
every
him-
jurisdiction has a different sales tax rate.
Right, I get that.
And you collect sales tax at the point of whoever bought it lives at, not the place you sold it at,
Right, I get that.
okay?
I get that. But
So-
he still says that
I
it's
know.
not gonna,
But Posh, since you're selling it to that person, Posh doesn't know that, so they've charged you this sales tax, so where you're at. I'm now going over here, so Posh is I'm gonna use Kansas, say Kansas 6.5, okay? Posh has charged you 7.5 because you're Wichita, okay?
It
So,
is 10.5.
so wherever you're at, they're charging that,
Yeah.
okay? Now, I bought my supplies at 7.5. I go to your, I sell somebody in your county, it's now 10.5. I should be collecting the 10.5 sales tax on my sale. Technically, what you can do is you can say, okay, when you remit it to the state of Kansas, say, I already paid sales tax of this amount, I only now need to pay the 3% to the state.
Ding, ding.
And not have to get the rebate from Posh. You can do it this way, and this is the way around. So you don't have to mess with Posh, you don't have to get a refund from them, you don't have to turn this exemption in, but then you're still responsible for paying that difference.
See,
Now, if you're selling in your own location and collecting, sales tax, and you got sales tax, okay, they're submitting it for you.
yeah, see,
okay.
and that's why I wanted him,
But if you're selling outside your area and your sales tax is now different than what Posh has charged you, you now have a problem.
What if it's less? Like everything I've done, mine is, the sales tax in that area.
Right, so for
is
example,
less.
you bought it at 10.5, you sold it to somebody in Wichita, it says 7.5, you're collecting 7.5, you've made $3, or you made 3%. Because there's not a way,
She lost.
there's not a way to go the other direction.
But she lost 3%.
When I,
If
when
she
I,
paid more
when
than
I
only
buy,
that.
I buy
Oh, you lost
cream-
did she take it
3%.
as a loss?
No,
when I buy hand cream for,
Yes,
with
it's a
tax
loss,
out the
sorry.
door, it's
Yeah.
$9.95.
Mhm.
And so when I go down the street, I normally, because I don't count that I'm paying tax, or that I'm charging tax. All I'm doing is getting this customer to reimburse me for the tax I've already paid. I charge $9.95 no matter where I am, and no one in 2.5 years has ever questioned me on it.
right.
No one has ever
And
said,
technically-
that's not my tax.
Like-
Because it's like 3% difference, who really knows?
Technically, according to the state sales tax, you cannot do that,
which I knew that was true.
okay? So you cannot do that, so you gotta be very, very careful about doing that type of thing, because that's technically when if the state finds out that you're paying, and, and it's being paid in, and yet you didn't charge the correct sales tax at the end consumer, they could get really nasty with you on
Okay,
that,
so
okay?
if it's
Now, what you
flat-
can do you bought it at 10.7.5, so $9.95 was your total, okay? $9.95, you back out and say the tax is the 6 point, and that difference, you know, you could do it that way and get away with it. It's basically you've marked up the product to cover your difference. It becomes kind of income to you.
See, I think that, I
Sort
really
of,
think
yeah.
that we need to request.
Sort of, kind of. It's a
that-
mess. I will
It's
admit,
clarified.
it's a
It's
mess.
clarified, because
And-
what they put
And
out.
what they
versus-
put out, I'm
He
going,
hasn't addressed it, so.
I am strictly going by what was put out by Posh, okay?
Yeah, and I'm
Right.
trying to find
So-
where, like, the conversation occurred.
Because I went through this and read it, and reread it, and reread it, and said, okay, this is what they're doing.
Do you have the tax ID?
Here's-
It's a different ID.
Here,
She's basically
yeah.
saying because.
Why would it be a
they
different
wanted
ID?
the tax ID
You mean
number.
from Posh?
Yes.
Posh is a tax ID,
Ever asked me for it, ever.
but they have a separate ID, tax ID for every state.
Right, so if the only state I sell in is my home state and I have that tax ID, is there a possibility their tax ID has changed?
Doubt it. Okay?
Okay.
Better
So,
have them go online and buy it.
so at one point, what was said was, the concern from an IRS perspective is if, that's a big question, if, you should be collecting sales tax from the resale of the product at a fair or market or something, and the Posh ID numbers are used, then Posh could be held liable for the sales tax if it wasn't collected. Yes, even though we collected sales tax when you purchased the original product, what would normally happen is that you would pay sales tax, you would collect sales tax, and you would remit the portion that you collected but didn't pay. It gets complicated to type it out. We're
No,
researching
you
it
just
with
remit
the
the,
IRS.
technically, you're only supposed to remit the difference. That's what he left out in his message,
Yeah.
okay? That's where he failed on the message there. It's only the difference that you're gonna remit.
Yeah, because.
But
because
your
then it
problem
said-
becomes when you have somebody with a high tax rate area selling to a low tax rate area.
Well, and,
So sell it for what you
Cause I have.
cost you.
My city has the, on record, the highest sales tax
I
in
know.
the entire state.
Yeah, I know.
yeah.
10.5 is the highest in the state. I think there's only one
Even if
more
he
in
said anything that
Johnson
goes to
County
the
with
VO is
the
not a concern, which
11 or
makes no
12.
sense.
Grandview Plaza,
Yeah,
has, but they're like
yeah.
this little,
It's
Yeah.
so many blocks.
but as far as the city is
Yeah.
concerned, we have the highest
Right.
sales tax.
Sell it at the price that you paid for and go on with life.
Yeah.
Because they'll remit the tax. Okay?
How
If-
often do most states require you to remit tax?
Depending on your amount of sales, it could be monthly, quarterly, or yearly.
Okay.
It's based on your total overall sales. Okay?
Okay, and I just want to point out to everybody who's online that he is just going based off of
The plan.
what was put out in our news, in our
Right. I'm
workstations.
strictly going by
That's-
Posh's document.
It's just this document, so,
That's in the planning guide, isn't it? I think that's
It
the
is-
planning
Yeah,
guide.
it's in the planning guide.
yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Okay?
we will try to still get some more clarification,
I know, yeah,
but based upon what this is saying is the reason why he's saying that, so that's why I just want to clarify that.
yeah. So, yeah, I'm going strictly by Posh's document. Okay? That's all I'm doing here.
Yeah.
So, I know it's a pain because, you know, if you guys are gonna be the ones that are gonna be responsible for, you know, not paying sales tax at Posh, okay, because you turn it tax exempt to them, so you don't pay sales tax at Posh. You get the product at no tax. You turn around and sell it. You're gonna have to make sure that you download the text booklet from the state of Kansas, and according to where that person lives, you charge that sales tax, and then you're gonna remit that to the state of Kansas on a monthly, quarterly, or yearly basis, depending on what your sales are. Bottom line. That's how it really should be done. The reason why this is happening is because most of the multi-level marketings like Amway and other places, you no longer buy product and turn around and sell it. You buy directly from the company. So when they key in their zip code, it charges the right sales tax, and they take care of it all for you.
Yeah.
When you're buying product to turn around and resell, physically buying and physically reselling, this is what's gonna happen. And they're probably gonna start going after more and more of the companies that are doing it this way. So don't pay sales tax at Posh, turn a tax exempt certificate, get your tax number,
They're not
get
ready
an
for that.
exemption, turn it in that, so they don't charge sales tax, and then you charge the sales tax, you remit it to state of Kansas.
But they're not ready for the tax exempt
Yeah.
certificates yet, so
It
don't
says
do that yet.
soon
Yeah,
you will
and
be able to
soon.
provide them.
Okay, it's coming. I'm
So
just
from
saying.
now on, we're still just paying tax. through
Just
us
do it the
and-
same way.
Just do, okay, I mean,
Yeah.
because I still got events that are
Right.
coming
Yeah.
up.
But
Just do it the same way
I
right
know why it's happening, is because you guys are paying sales tax. Now that I've talked here today, I fully understand where the problem is. You're buying all your product and paying sales tax at this point, sales tax, okay?
Right, wherever we're at.
Wherever you're at. But you're turning around and selling it to that one and 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 that one that all have their own sales tax rates.
Right,
And it's not the same as yours.
right.
So I fully understand. What's happening is, they're doing fine, state's doing fine here, they're collecting more.
Right.
They're losing money
Often.
on you
Except-
selling to her place.
Except the nearby town isn't getting the taxes that she
Yeah,
paid to her
except,
town.
yeah, the city of Hope is
Yeah.
So
getting
that's
their
why
percentage.
they're-
Right, so the city's not getting their tax. The only way they can get that is if it's done this other way. So I understand where they're going and why. Okay, because the states are hurting so bad for money, they're really looking at the sales tax very,
Flat rate, get it all.
So,
they are really going after it, okay?
so pretty much,
Thanks, Trump.
when I go to an
Thanks,
event and I
politics.
sell stuff, if that tax rate that I'm charging them is less than what I already paid for it, I'm not gonna worry about it. Cause they're still making money on me.
Right, but
Well,
you really, people, the best thing, the thing you need to do,
Right.
get your ID from the state of Kansas, get your tax ID exempt certificate, turn it into Posh, don't pay sales tax at Posh, collect the sales tax according to each one of the jurisdictions you sell in, and you turn it into the state of Kansas.
When they're ready.
when- yeah.
Don't do it now, because they're not ready.
Not ready, but when they're ready, that's the way, that is really what needs to happen.
Okay, so, do you only need a reseller's license for the state that you live in? Because, like, I'm
You will
gonna,
need one for everywhere you go, unless you're paying that state. Now, for Chicago, you're paying, when you go in there, you sign up for their tax, and you pay right then.
uh-huh.
So you don't need a sales tax,
No, but what I'm saying is,
no, you don't need a sales tax ID, because they're still shipping it, Posh is shipping it to your house, you're taking it to Chicago.
right,
Go,
I only need it for, like, the state that I live in.
yes, because that's where your delivery is going to.
Well, that's where her delivery's going to, but then if she
What she's
turns
buying.
around and she goes to an event
She's
that's in
gonna
South
have to
Carolina,
register in each, now, Chicago you don't have to, because Chicago's a little different on their sales tax. Because you actually register at the event, and you pay it at the event.
No, we
And-
paid it, we have 30 days to pay it.
Yeah, but they give you a little thing. But a lot of events will turn, I know event we do here, people come in, gave them the thing, they have to turn that in, they're responsible for turning that sales tax in. So all the events should be giving you that to do your thing. It's this, when you're selling it, that party, that party, that party, that party, that party, not an event, that we have to worry about the sales tax stuff.
Well, and I think that a lot of this came up with when a lot of people started selling jams and jellies and crafts and, they were collecting all this cash and not paying any taxes on
Yep.
it. So I think that.
Ding, ding, ding.
So I think that's-
So you got a ding, ding, ding. too.
So,
I like this one.
so Nolan is licensed to do sales tax, or.
I can help you do your sales tax. I can help you get your sales tax ID number. I can help you fill out this, the reports, send it in, how to do it. Because I have clients that come in and I have one guy that's supposed to do it every month. He comes in every quarter and we file 3 months.
But I mean,
He pays, it's so small that the penalties are like pennies. So he's like, screw it, and so he just comes in and we just do 3 months at a time, and we do 3 months at a time, we do 3 months at a time. So we can do that. We can get you set up, we can get you your ID, we can get your exempt certificate, we can submit the sales tax. Once this is all ready to start, because it's really not gonna be ready to go until they can accept those exempt certificates.
Right.
Till that point, continue to do business as is.
Right.
Yeah.
When was,
And,
when was that email sent out? What is it?
It's in the planning guide.
yeah, funny day.
Okay,
If you go to your virtual office.
right, I was just wondering what the date was of that.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know.
I know that I pulled it up.
January 5th?
Yeah, she
Okay.
pulled it out and she emailed it to me. I printed it out so I could talk to everybody
Okay.
tonight.
So,
Do you have these
But-
on your computer that you
I
can
have
email
some.
me?
Yeah.
You have them? Okay, because can you upload them
Yeah.
to my team page?
Yeah.
but
Okay,
if you
all right.
guys don't have a tax accountant, I strongly suggest that you have one, because they know what you can take and what you can't take, and they will help keep you out of trouble
And I want to add to that, you might want to get one that is specifically
with.
DSA, or direct sales, multi-level marketing.
Yeah,
Yep,
That knows the ins and outs.
Yes.
I'm gonna turn mine off now.
okay.
yeah, because, you know, I'm one of the few in the city that really specializes in multi-level marketing. I'm not tooting my own horn, it's just, it's a fact. And so I do a lot of multi-level marketing companies, okay?
And his
So-
rates
Do
are,
taxes for various states.
yeah,
And I
he
do
can
all
do
states.
all states for taxes.
I do all states,
He's very reasonable,
so,
so, yes, and you have a website that people can upload things
Yep.
to, so
so when
everything
you're
is
remote,
confidential.
if you're remote, you're in another state or whatever, you just scan all your documents, you upload it to our secure portal, I do the return, I upload the return back to it, the signature pages, you sign the signature pages, upload them when we're done.
Now, is this
And
like,
you can pay through PayPal.
is this all like, I mean, the whole thing, the whole personal and business type thing and everything? I mean, because, my husband works for the railroad, so I've always done it just
I
because he has
have,
special.
I have several railroad people.
Okay,
So,
Okay, some of the things that are gonna affect you guys this next year, on your
yes.
personal side. Standard deductions are going up, so people are not gonna be able to itemize as much as they've been able to, because the standard deduction for single is $12,000, $24,000 for a married couple. And it's more for, age and blindness. The
Sorry.
personal, business expenses you don't get reimbursed for at work, your W-2 work, where you work, in the past, you could deduct that if you met a certain threshold, and then you could itemize. That is now gone, completely gone. So there is no employee business expenses deductible anymore. Okay? And for those of you that live in high states with high income tax and high property taxes, East Coast, West Coast, I've had a few even here, your personal property tax, house taxes, and taxes withheld through your W-2 is limited to $10,000. So Maryland has got a nice little thing that they're doing, that you're going to pay your property tax up to the threshold, and then you're going to do the rest to a charitable, because charitable is still 100% deductible, and then they're going to take from the charity to pay the rest of your taxes.
Charitable will still be 100%
Yep.
deductible.
Unless you can meet the new standard deduction, to be above the standard deduction of 12 for single and 24,000 for married.
So, a lot of people probably
You still
won't
have to go
make
over that figure.
You have to be able to go over that figure.
A lot of people won't make that 24,000
That's right.
figure. Okay.
They're going to be thinking standard deduction.
I wonder what my husband would think if we got
And
this
which
I-
standard deduction is gonna be 24,000?
on paper.
For a married couple.
Okay.
Because this year's 12,700 goes to 24 this next year. So you have to go over that on the
And it
itemized
looks
deduction.
real good, but I was seeing something that says by the time you go down, 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 it's not that big a
Okay.
difference.
That's.
I'm gonna end you guys now. See you later.
Unless you have a kid